President Tinubu's wife blames Nigerians for traveling abroad to drive taxis. Imagine the level of insensitivity of the people who should know better. She's pointed fingers at Nigerians who, driven by economic hardship, seek greener pastures abroad.
In the times of Jesus, he said, the poor you will always have in the land. So, and it's for people who God has blessed to help the poor. But now you don't even know who are poor. If you don't ride a car, they will say they are poor. If you don't have your own home, they say they are poor. Even all those people saying they are going to Japa or they go there, what work are you going to do? You know, work that you refuse to do at home, where you have loved ones. You end up going to do that. Even with all their education, they're driving cabs. But they won't drive cabs here.
Yes.
But is this the fault of the people or a failure of the government? Let's delve into the economic reality of Nigeria. The nation that was once hailed as the giant of Africa now grapples with a harsh economic climate that has left many of its citizens in dire straits. The struggle of the average Nigerian is a tale of resilience in the face of adversity. Imagine spending years studying a particular course, dedicating time, energy, and resources only to step into a job market that is saturated with unemployment and underemployment. The Nigerian Bureau of Statistics reports that as of the last quarter of 2023, the unemployment rate stood at a staggering 33%. Even when jobs are secured, the pay can often be described as peanuts, hardly enough to cater for basic needs, let alone provide a comfortable life. And this is if you're lucky. Some Nigerians have found themselves working for months, tirelessly pouring their sweat and blood into their jobs, only to be rewarded with unpaid wages. The sad reality is, in Nigeria, getting a job is not just about what you know, but who you know. The economic hardship in Nigeria does not discriminate. It cuts across various sectors. From education to health, from the arts to the sciences, no area is left untouched. It's a harsh reality that has forced many Nigerians to look beyond the borders of their homeland for opportunities. This is not a choice made lightly. It's a decision born out of desperation and a yearning for a better life. It's a testament to the indomitable spirit of Nigerians, a spirit that refuses to be broken by the economic hardship at home. With such a harsh reality, can we blame Nigerians for seeking greener pastures? Now, let's evaluate the insensitivity of this statement. Imagine someone standing on the peak of a mountain, looking down at you struggling to climb, and instead of offering a helping hand, they mock your efforts. This is the picture painted by the statement made by President Tinubu's wife. The remark is not just inflammatory, it's a gross misrepresentation of the Nigerian struggle. Everyday Nigerians strive to make ends meet, to put food on their tables, and to provide for their families. Some even go as far as studying for years, pouring their hearts and souls into their education, only to be met with the harsh reality of unemployment. And those who are fortunate enough to find jobs are sometimes paid peanuts. A few work for months without seeing the color of their wages. This is the reality on the ground. So, when someone in a position of power and privilege makes light of these struggles, it's not just insensitive, it's a slap in the face. It shows a lack of understanding, a disconnect from the harsh realities faced by average Nigerians. It's like laughing at a man who is drowning instead of throwing him a lifeline. This statement, instead of inspiring hope, stirs up feelings of frustration and abandonment. It begs the question, if those in power are so out of touch with the experiences of the people they represent, how can they effectively address their needs? But What is the administration doing to improve the lives of Nigerians? This is the question on the lips of many Nigerians today. Let's delve into that. When we take a walk down memory lane, we can't help but notice the stark contrast between the Nigeria of yesteryears and the Nigeria of today. Before President Tinubu's administration, there were challenges, no doubt, but many Nigerians still held on to the hope of seeing an improvement. They anticipated a change that would uplift the economy, create jobs, and improve the standard of living. However, since the advent of President Tinubu's administration, the narrative seems to have taken a different turn. The economy is not just on a downward spiral, but it seems to be in a free fall. Unemployment rates have skyrocketed, with thousands of fresh graduates joining the labor market yearly, only to be greeted by the harsh reality of joblessness. The cost of living has become almost unbearable for the average Nigerian, and the gap between the rich and the poor keeps widening like the Red Sea. Inflation rates are at an all-time high, and the value of the naira seems to be on a perpetual decline. The healthcare system is in a dire state, with many Nigerians opting for medical tourism due to the lack of adequate healthcare facilities at home. The education sector is not left out, with incessant strikes and underfunding becoming the order of the day. Furthermore, the issue of insecurity has become a major cause for concern. From the north to the south, east to west, no region is immune to the scourge of insecurity that has befallen the nation. Banditry, kidnapping, and insurgency seem to have become the norm rather than the exception. Now, let's pause and ask ourselves, is this the Nigeria we envisioned? Is this the Nigeria we dreamt of? The answer, sadly, is a resounding no. So we must ask, what has the administration achieved? It seems the answer lies more in what hasn't been achieved, in the promises unfulfilled, in the hopes dashed and dreams deferred. Is Nigeria still the giant of Africa? The answer to this lies in our hands. It's high time we woke up and demanded the Nigeria we deserve, the Nigeria we dream. Let's compare Nigeria with other fast-developing countries. A glance at nations such as India and Brazil reveals a stark contrast. These countries, like Nigeria, faced similar challenges a few decades ago. However, their approach to dealing with these issues has set them on a different trajectory. India, for instance, has seen significant economic growth over the past decade thanks to its focus on technology and education. The country's IT sector is now a global powerhouse, providing jobs to millions of its citizens and creating a thriving middle class. The government's commitment to improving education has also paid off, with a surge in the number of highly skilled professionals in various fields. On the other hand, Brazil has made significant strides in agriculture and manufacturing. The country has become one of the world's leading exporters of food and industrial goods, creating numerous job opportunities for its population. Moreover, Brazil's social programs have helped reduce poverty and improve the standard of living. Now let's look back at Nigeria. Despite being endowed with vast natural resources, the nation struggles with high unemployment rates, poor infrastructure, and a low standard of living. The opportunities that should be available to its citizens are few and far between. The economic growth that should have been spurred by the country's wealth has been stifled by corruption and poor governance. In comparison, it's clear that other developing countries have managed to turn their challenges into opportunities. They've focused on sectors that could drive growth, invested in their people, and created an environment that promotes development. These countries offer their citizens a chance at a better life, a stark contrast to what Nigerians face at home. So, are Nigerians wrong for seeking better opportunities abroad? In conclusion, who is to blame for Nigerians traveling abroad to drive taxis? As we've journeyed through this discussion, we've touched on some poignant truths. The economic hardship in Nigeria is undeniable. Our nation's children are studying for years, burning the midnight oil only to emerge into a world where jobs are scarce and the ones available often pay peanuts. This harsh reality is pushing Nigerians to seek greener pastures abroad, even if it means driving taxis. The statement made by President Tinubu's wife, blaming Nigerians for this migration, seems painfully insensitive. It's easy to point fingers from the comfort of privilege, but the reality on the ground tells a different story. As we ponder on her words, we can't help but ask, what is the administration doing to alleviate these hardships? Under President Tinubu's leadership, Nigeria seems to be in a downward spiral. Our status as the giant of Africa is fast becoming a distant memory. We must question the actions and priorities of this administration. Are they doing enough? Are they even trying? When we look at other fast developing countries, we see progress, we see a future for their youth, and we are left wondering, why not us? Why not Nigeria? The comparison is stark, and it begs the question, what are we missing? Let's not just point fingers, let's demand better. Let's question the status quo and hold those in power accountable. After all, they are there to serve us, the Nigerian people. It's time we changed the narrative. It's time we stood up and asked the hard questions. It's time we demanded more for our country and for our future. And now the conversation doesn't end here. It's just the beginning. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What are your experiences? Let's continue this conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insightful videos. Together, we can make a difference.